Hey guys, thanks for all the great feedback. Today's going to be yin. There was a request for some lower back work. So I thought what we could do is you could add this sequence to any of the vinyasa classes as a cool down. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start off in a pigeon pose on the right side. So we'll transition through downward facing dog, and then we'll sort of layer on from there. Okay, so as we come into down dog, walk your dog out right to left, and let's just get connected to each other. If you're just now jumping in. And the right knee is going to come to the right wrist. We'll slide the left leg all the way back. And then drop our forearms down to the ground for a seal. So the forearms down, just like if you were going to be doing a seal pose. Now you can either make two fists for your forehead and rest them down, or this is a great time to start to acclimate and use blocks, where you'll take the block and you can press your forehead, resting it on the block while the hips are opening. And we're just going to do this for a couple of breaths. One more breath. We'll press both hands back into the mat. What I'd like you to do is roll over onto the right hip. You've probably seen this transition. We do this a lot in the vinyasa classes, and then you're going to pull the right heel in towards you. Now remember, the block is great for elevating the hip flexors, so if you need to, lift your hips up, because we're going to twist the torso. So what I'd like you to do is inhale your arms up and move the fleshy part of your bum so that you're not sticking to your mat, and then twist the torso to the best of the ability, and then lean over the left leg. Now this is a correction I give a lot in class. Start to drop the right shoulder towards the floor and let the forehead go towards the knee, and breathe. This is where you can start to use a strap. So if you can't reach your feet with your hands, grab a strap. If it's easy for you to reach for your feet, then use the block. We'll just use that to sort of soften into the stretch. There's not going to be a lot of effort here. It's really meant to be a gentle. Yin is feminine. Yin is relaxation. Yin is learning how to be kind to ourselves. So just relaxing into that. One more breath here. We'll press both hands back in. And now here's an option for you too. You can grab that block one more time, place it to the inside of your knee, because we're going to go into a side body stretch. And you can take the forearm and rest it on the block. And then just look over the right shoulder. You can take the right arm up towards the sky and start to reach over towards the foot. You can take that right arm behind you and reach for the inside of the left thigh for half of a bind. But what we're ultimately trying to do is lengthen and reach for the left foot with the right arm. So really work on that stretch. And we're going to do that for a few breaths. One more breath, see if you can go a little bit further. Look towards the ceiling. We'll slowly release. We're going to come right into a wide-legged straddle, so extend this right leg out. And then use your fingertips to elevate you. That's the whole idea, so that you can slide a little bit more forward. We'll move the fleshy part of the bum. Then we'll lean forward until our forearms come down to the mat. And one more time, we'll walk our hands back in. And use your hands to pull your knees in. We're going to come right back into downward facing dog. Walk the dog out. And let's take care of the left leg. So we'll bring the left knee to the left wrist and the left foot to the right wrist, and slide that leg back. And then, like we talked about earlier, if you want to prop your head up with the block so that you're not holding the weight into the shoulders, and this is going to allow the hips to fall closer towards the floor. And I learned this trick back in the dark ages, that if there's a lot of pressure on the left knee, you can always take this block, place it underneath the quadricep muscle of the right leg, and that will take pressure off of the left knee. So if you find that this is a pose that you really struggle with, that's always an option as well. On the next breath, let's press both hands back into the mat. Roll over onto the left hip, just like we did earlier, and pull that left heel in. Inhale the arms up nice and high. We're going to add the twist. So take your torso over towards the right foot and then move the fleshy part if you feel like that's inhibiting you, so that you can drop both elbows down to the ground or reach for your feet. Sometimes I feel like forward folds brings out the worst in us. We get very competitive with reaching the foot. So I want to encourage you to just soften the back. Right where the hip flexor and the floating rib cage meets, there's this muscle there that gets really bound. And I find that that's the one that requires the biggest stretch for the lower back. One more breath here. And we'll walk our hands in. And as we come back to center, again, you can take the right elbow, rest it to the inside of the knee. You can always rest your head on your arm as well. 'Cause the idea is you want to get that stretch through the QL, right? Especially if that's what's inhibiting you. So being sensitive to that is how you'll make the decision about where you're going to place your arms. So stay connected to that sensation and then explore the physical body and which one of the stretches is going to give you what you really need. It doesn't have to be the biggest pose. You just take a big breath in and a big breath out. Opening up. One more breath. We'll slowly release. We'll come back to center. You're going to need your block for this next one. So you'll grab your block and we're going to roll onto our backs. So when we practice this in class, there's often this misunderstanding about where is the block supposed to go. So it goes behind the belly button. So if my belly button is here, this block is going to go behind me where the belly button is. So that also means that the hip points are going to drop on the other side of the block. So we don't want to hold or clench. You literally want to try to recreate your lower dadic curve. So if your feet are 2 fists width apart and you could let your arms be soft, just work on softening the lower dadic curve. And take a big breath in. Now, if you have a herniated disc or something like that, then what I would encourage you to do is do a smaller block. Maybe something like this, where it's a little gentler, so that it becomes more about recreating the lower dadic curve. But again, whenever you're practicing yoga, we teach mindfulness. Mindfulness is, better than anybody, including your doctor, how your body is operating. You're with it 24/7. It talks to you all the time. And the question really becomes, are we good listeners? So just keep relaxing the lower back, relaxing the lower back. Letting the pelvic bowl drop closer and closer towards the floor. Maybe you have this desire to sigh it out. Maybe it's feeling like you could rock your knees from side to side, starting to get a little bit deeper into the myofascia. Because the longer we're here, the more supple the body becomes. It only takes like 15 seconds to create new muscle memory. So right now all we're doing is just breaking through all that fascia. And a few more breaths. And we'll come back to center. Use your upper body to really lift the hips up so you can release the prop and then lower the tailbone down. Let's just take a few breaths here. Staying connected to the sensations, it's almost like you can feel the blood pumping into that part of the physical body. We're going to add a supine twist. So the left leg's going to come forward, the right knee will come up. We'll put it nice and tight. And we'll take that knee over towards the right side of the room, add the twist. The right arm will be extended. Now, this is where if you need more, these handy tennis balls I was talking about, you come back up. So there's always this question, where does this go? So anywhere along the side of the body, it's normally a little tender. So you'll have to explore, like that's as far as I need to go in order to start to feel that. Now if I come up a little bit more, it's more intense. Whoo. And then you just wait. Wait, wait, wait. And then maybe we back out a little bit and we adjust it somewhere else. Sort of exploring. Ooh, you can go a little bit further. And we'll come back up, we'll pull the knee in and place the left foot down on the ground. We're going to switch sides. So move your hips over towards the left and extend the right leg out. And as you pull your left knee in nice and tight, take this tennis ball, just like you did on the other side, you're going to find that sweet spot. So this is as far as I'm going to go.
I'm getting plenty of sensations. So what's a barometer? We don't want it to be in pain. So I remember I took a class once and it said, pain, the question you have to ask yourself about it, is it coming in or is it going out? So when I'm practicing, it's more about, I feel enough sensations that I can still soften into it. Because if I go too far, then all I do is go in resistance. And the idea is not to practice in this place of resistance. You could actually apply that school of thought as well to a vinyasa class, a slow flow class, a beginner's class. Excess. You don't need it in the practice. Less is more. We'll back out a little bit, sort of explore the other aspects of the hip flexor. And on the last breath, we'll come back to center, pull the left knee in. Give it a nice tight squeeze. We'll extend both legs out in front of us. The left leg will extend out and the right leg will extend out. We'll bring our arms out to the side. Now if you want to end in some kind of a back opener, this would be great. You can take the 2 blocks that you guys have seen often for your heart opening. And there are 2 schools of thought. The block can go this way and the block can go this way. It's relative to what your intention is. So there's no wrong answer here. But the block is going to go back. And then the idea is it's going to go just where the rib cage starts to open up. And you can take your other block and place it behind your head. And this is just going to allow you to sort of soften into it. Now, not everybody needs the block, and it doesn't have to be this high. But you want to feel this opening through the chest where the pecs are starting to widen, your arms can come out to your side. You're in the path of least resistance. And I always think Supta Baddha Konasana feet are great, so you can bring the balls of your feet together and let your knees fall open. Nice big breath in and out. I'm going to encourage you to stay here as long as you'd like. Use this pose as an opportunity for reflecting. When you feel complete, it's important to bring your knees back in and come into a nice, gentle forward fold. So you just reach for your toes. And then ending your class in a comfortable seat. Grateful for this opportunity to remain together. Shanti, 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 peace, peace, peace. And from my heart to yours, namaste.